Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union Energy Update. Today we're doing a post full moon energy update. We're going to do a deep dive into what's going on between the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine and their union energies. I do want to share with you guys what I had channeled. It's on the community tab. Make sure you're checking that out. It's also on my Instagram and on my Facebook where I cross post. But I do these written channelings on Instagram and Facebook, and I cross post here to YouTube. And it's always interesting what comes through. So the energy definitely feels much lighter. For myself, I was just in a state of complete just like fog and fatigue over the past couple of days. A lot of rest, a lot of physical rest needed. But it really cleared up today, it feels like. And that's usually how I feel the full moons or the lunar cycles. I usually feel some fatigue and heightened energy. I didn't feel the heightened energy so much this time. It just felt like a lot of physical symptoms, and I feel like the masculines are really feeling a lot of crown chakra openings. It's really interesting. It's like a heightened awareness, a new conscious awareness that I feel like they have been coming in. I'll get to that in a little bit as well. I did post the December monthly channeling for the Patreon. I'll be sharing some of that, the 2023 energy, coming up on Instagram and Facebook, so make sure that you're staying tuned to that as well. Speaking of that, the 2023 year ahead readings are really booking up fast. I'm now 3 weeks out as far as completing them. So do make sure that you are booking now so that I can get you on the list. I am going to be offering those until January 15th. I'm not sure I'm going to get through them as quickly as possible, but I'm not sure, it depends on how many more book, and I'm not sure how far we're going to extend that. But do make sure I'm only accepting bookings until January 15th, and I'm not accepting any other bookings until those are complete, just because those are top priority right now. But so if you want 2023 year ahead readings where we look into the current energy to close your year, what you need to know heading into the new year, we do it kind of like a clock kind of spread, looking at all 4 seasons, all 4 quarters of the year. We look at the themes of relationship, finances, career, home life, soul growth, some guidance. That's the full spread that we look at. If you're interested in that, make sure that you are checking out my website, susandonspiritual.com. And I'm going to be doing a collective 2023 year ahead reading towards the end of the year over on my sister channel, Susan Dawn Ascension Connections. So do make sure you're checking that out as well. Okay, so let's get into the reading here. I want to share with you what I had channeled this morning with regards to the energy. It was interesting because I wanted to pull for the union as a whole, but masculine energy really was coming through in the energy. So let's see where, let me see what it says. It says, we had the Strength card, the Four of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the Five of Wands, and the World. And then underneath the World was the Ace of Cups. So the Five of Wands and the World was on the bottom of the deck, and the Ace of Cups was underneath that. So with the Strength card leading the spread, it feels as if there's been an awakening, a new conscious awareness in which the ego has been tamed and a false mask or sense of identity has been shed. There's a sense of intense vulnerability coming through. They're feeling a little uncomfortable or unsure of this new world or version of themselves they've recently birthed from within. And while it feels fresh and more authentic to their soul, they're also feeling a little tender and exposed. There was this real energy of tenderness, vulnerability, almost like when you are naked, but uncomfortable with that, not quite sure of yourself. There was this energy of like a new, fresh energy, like being born energy. And I keep wanting to say being born, but I keep hearing reborn. This is rebirth energy. It was in the Strength card that I had pulled. There's the image of a lamb, and it feels very vulnerable. It felt very tender. It felt very sincere, but very raw, very vulnerable is just the word that I keep getting. very exposed, not quite comfortable, not quite sure where their footing is yet, not quite sure where they stand, not quite sure of this new sense of being, this new way of being, this new way of feeling and doing and experiencing the world. Like I said, a lot of crown chakra energy has been coming through. And with that, it's like new perspectives, new insights, really feeling connected to themselves. But there's a newness with that, a rawness with that. Um, it feels like heightened emotions as well. I do feel like masculine energy is either physically or just internally. There's a lot of, it feels like tears being shed, a lot of crying, a lot of letting the emotions out, which is a really beautiful thing. It's a really sensitive thing. And it's like they're not used to being sensitive. They're not used to allowing for their sensitivity, perhaps because other people, parents, authority figures, other relationships had really shut them down anytime they allow themselves to express that sensitivity. But the conscious divine masculine is beautifully, beautifully sensitive. And that's been a struggle for them. Again, it's been raw. It's like they're exposing themselves, and that's very uncomfortable to be that vulnerable. But it's also, what I'm hearing is that's the way I want to live. It's like that's the new way of living. That's the new earth way of living. It's allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and share yourself with everybody in the world, but with that soul family, with the people that you are closest to, that you want to build those intimate connections with, they're beginning to really understand the importance of that self-expression, the importance of that vulnerability, the importance of that sensitivity, and that sharing of emotions, sharing of themselves. It's it's a very new energy here, and I'm sensing a lot of discomfort in the lower chakras. So I do feel like it's they're grounding this in, they're integrating this, and they're releasing any place where there's a lot of discomfort. I'm also hearing now where they had once been reprimanded or criticized or judged for that sensitivity, they're starting to learn how to express themselves in the way of standing up for themselves. This is a very strong masculine. Make no doubt about it. Where in the past masculines were meant to show themselves as like bravado and ego and that alpha kind of energy, this is a strength that comes from within. It's not a facade. That's what the old template is tearing down. That's what the old paradigm was all about, especially when it comes to men. Men were not allowed to show their emotions. Men were not allowed to express their true feelings. Men were not allowed to be sensitive. They had to be the tough guy. They had to have that sense of bravado. The conscious divine masculine is strong from within. And again, they're bringing forth King Arthur, that King Arthur energy. It is a regal energy, a sense of integrity, a sense of dignity with a conscious sensitivity. It's a beautiful energy. And they're learning now, these divine masculines are learning now what true strength really is, what true leadership really is, what integrity really is, what character really is. They're understanding that the bigger picture of who they themselves are, and where other people had perhaps shut them down. They're recognizing their own strength, and they're standing up for that as well. This is, how do I describe this energy? Because they're coming into such a state of balance within themselves, this is that inner strength that is displaying itself outwardly as a leader, as authority. It is, even though they're sensitive, it's not sensitivity as like a weakness. It is sensitivity as in, I have feelings too. I'm acknowledging my feelings too. This is the new conscious masculine. It is a gorgeous energy. And I'm hearing this energy of still standing up for yourself, still fighting for your values, fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what you want. This is somebody who has peace in their heart and balances that out really beautifully with that strength, with that courage. It's not that false bravado anymore. It's not that ego anymore. This is a new energy. This is really, really beautiful. So, okay, let's get back into it. So there's a sense of intense vulnerability coming through. They're feeling a little uncomfortable or unsure of this new world or version of themselves they've recently birthed from within. And while it feels fresh and more authentic to their soul, they're also feeling a little tender and exposed. Without the mask they've known for so long, who are they? Without that protective layer, what does it mean for their unguarded heart? As they integrate this energy, they'll begin to find the strength and courage that comes from this new level of soul truth and what it means to embody who they truly are and always have been. Even the vulnerability which they once felt made them weak, fearful, or avoidant due to previous conditioning and old beliefs is now being shown to them as a strength. The more they open their hearts to themselves, the more they're able to open up their hearts to the sacred other, which brings in new waves of love and abundance. So again, I just want to reiterate this energy. It feels like the crown has opened. They're feeling really connected. They're really feeling like they are online, so to speak, really connecting with their heart, with their mind, with God's source. And it's opening up a new waves of emotion within them. Let me be abundantly clear. Emotion is not weakness. That is the old paradigm. That's what we were made to believe by societal conditioning. It is not a weakness. Expression is not a weakness. That's what they're really beginning to understand. But they do so, the masculine energy, where the feminine energy holds that space for her own emotion. She allows herself to express herself. She allows herself to trust in her intuition. She has that quiet strength as well. So does the masculine. And the masculine expresses it a little bit differently. Both energies are warriors, but they express it a little bit differently. The feminine is a warrior in her wilderness. She is this kind of untamed, free-spirited energy. But she's also this soft, nurturing energy. She's Kali Ma. I love Kali. Kali Ma is that energy of the fierce warrior where she is, no bullshit. She is the creator energy. But she also knows that in order to create, there must be some kind of ending. There must be some kind of destruction in order for there to be creation. She's the whole of the cycle. She understands the whole of the cycle. She understands that wholeness, how it all works. She is also a very compassionate, loving, nurturing energy. She's like the divine mother energy. The divine masculine is very structured, very stable, very secure in their integrity, in their truth, in their sense of freedom and liberation, but from a different angle than the divine feminine. Both warriors, both sensitive, both connected, both allowing themselves to feel and express their emotions, but in very different ways. Expression does not equal weakness. They are, as the new conscious divine masculine, they truly are this warrior energy. And their expression of self makes them even more so from a very grounded, balanced state. So where the divine feminine is a much softer energy, a warrior in that way, the divine masculine is a very grounded energy, secure, stable, action-oriented, that leader, very direct, very take charge. But he doesn't negate his feelings for those other qualities, for those other characteristics. That's the balance. That's what they're beginning to understand. And that's what society had taken from them. The society had taken from them their own self-expression, their own ability to feel, suppressing the feminine energy within them. And we talk about that a lot on this channel, how you have both energies within you, and that is your union. That is your balance. When you heal those distortions, when you heal those old perceptions, when you heal those pain patterns, you recognize that you have both masculine and feminine energies within. As the divine feminine, you're able to hold that space for yourself. Your inner masculine is able to bring you stability, bring you a sense of security, provide for you. That's your sense of independence. That's your sense of freedom. You are able to have your own house or apartment. You're able to have your own job and take responsibility for yourself. You're able to provide for yourself financially. You're able to hold space for yourself emotionally, while in balance with your feminine energy, which is connection, intuition, nurturing, loving. You're all one. On the other side, there's the divine masculine. Same thing. Same thing, but as the core masculine, they feel more of those masculine energies. They embody more of those masculine energies. It's more natural for them to embody the masculine energy of groundedness and stability and security and provider. They feel more comfortable when they are doing. Divine feminine feels more comfortable when she is being and receiving. But through society, through conditioning, through this world, this life, this experience, this time and space that we have come to, that we're now beginning to heal and ascend out of, it got misconstrued. It got turned upside down. It got distorted. So that the feminines, those who are core feminine energies, felt like they had to overcompensate within their masculine energy. On the other end, the masculines, their feminine energies within them had been suppressed, so they shut down their emotions, they shut down their feelings. They weren't allowed to feel, they weren't allowed to express themselves. They weren't allowed to be the sensitive souls that they are. There is beauty in that balance. There's beauty in the bridge of those polarities. And that's what we're doing. We are healing those polarities. And when you're in sacred partnership, you're healing those polarities with one another. Because you are the same energy. You are the shared energy. So this masculine, I just want to take a moment and honor the masculine, because that is true strength and true courage, to allow yourself to feel the depths of everything that you're feeling. There's a beautiful strength in that. Okay, so then we had the bottom of the deck. And so what I channeled was, with the Five of Wands, the World, and the Ace of Cups, all on the bottom of the deck, this energy is overflowing with love. There are two messages coming through here. The first is that this renewed strength and rebirth of self is making this person want to drop their guard and end the cycle of conflict within their connection with their counterpart. They're making swift decisions to take action with an offer of communication and unguarded self-expression. For others, they may view themselves as having competition for their counterpart's affection, which is spurring a desire to express themselves and bring love back into the situation. This divine masculine is a powerful manifester, and he's manifesting quickly. So it could be two scenarios, or it could be the same scenario all at once. But what I was getting was that this renewed sense of strength, this renewed sense of self, this overflowing emotion is really making the divine masculine want to end whatever conflict or whatever cycle has been occurring with their counterpart in order to come swiftly and quickly towards them. It could also be, or it could be different, it could also be that they think, or they're viewing, maybe they're making up a story in their mind, or maybe they're actually seeing physical representation of this, the divine feminine, as having some kind of competition, or you know, that they feel like there's competition for their affections, like the divine feminine is moving forward in other relationships or whatever. So they're either making that story up in their mind, or they're seeing that, or they're thinking that, and that's actually spurring them forward to making decisions. They want to reconcile with the divine feminine. They want to bring love back into the connection. It's really interesting, beautiful energy. Okay, so what we're going to do is a bit of a deep dive and see what's going on. And I feel like the full moon played a part in releasing this, and I do feel like this weekend that energy is going to continue. Unless the energy shifts, I don't foresee me doing another Sacred Union energy update this weekend. I might do some reels and channelings on Instagram. I'll cross post when I can. But I don't foresee me doing another update unless I really feel the energy shift. And of course, as I do, I'll come on and share and do more readings. But it feels a little bit settled right now. It feels like there's some processing, some integration that's going on because of this full moon energy. So take your time, allow yourself to go back and look at any of the recent channelings that you might have missed, or rewatch them. Again, these readings all have layers in them, so if you go back, you might receive something new for yourself that might be helpful for your journey. But it really feels like a sense of calm and a sense of peace right now, almost like a pause. Not that energy isn't still shifting and moving, everything is forward motion, right? But it does feel like a little bit of a pause for some processing, for some integration, especially for the energy that we experienced with the full moon. And again, for the full moon, I feel like these masculines especially had released some heaviness, some burdens, some old beliefs, especially. I'm hearing they unlocked a part of themselves that they hadn't even realized was guarded. They hadn't even realized it was like behind like a metal door with 1,000 locks on it. They hadn't even realized it. And what I'm seeing is they're holding the key now, and they're recognizing, oh, this was this part of myself that I had hidden away for so long, that I'd hidden away from myself, that I hid away from my counterpart. This is why I couldn't come towards my counterpart. This is why I couldn't share myself. This is why it felt so scary to me, because I hid this part of myself away, even from myself. So it really feels like there is some part of themselves unlocking, and it's just coming forward with so much love. Your person's understanding how real this connection was and has been and always has been. They're recognizing that this is the real deal. They're recognizing that this has been and always was real love. They're recognizing the importance of this connection to them. Okay, what's going on for the Divine Masculine? Spiritual Awakening. We've been getting that card over the past week or two. Some kind of variation of that energy, some kind of variation of that card. And I feel like this came out the last time we used this deck a couple of readings ago. And we got this energy of, number one, the inner spiral, where they're going deep within themselves. But we also got the energy of, if there's any reluctance or resistance or hesitation, they are being pushed by the universe, because their own soul is longing for this change, for this shift, for this transformation. It's just their ego that holds them back in fears. It's, when you are experiencing ego, you have your intuitive nudge, right? Your intuition, your soul is speaking to you. And it's like, maybe say you want to go on a vacation. You're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It feels really right to me. I'm going to do this. And you're all ready. And then all of a sudden, your mind starts spinning. Well, what if this happens? What if I don't have money? What if I don't have a good time? What if this person can't go? What if, who knows who I'm going to meet there? Who knows, whatever. Your mind comes up with 1,000 what ifs, 1,000 doubts, 1,000 second guesses. That energy is the ego. And I feel like there's been this discernment between what is intuition and what is ego. They've been taming their mind, taming their ego, taming those doubts and fears, and recognizing them as doubts and fears. And so that's where the mind and the heart has come online as this like connection between the two, a balance between the two. That's where the union is. The feminine energy represents the heart, the intuition. The masculine energy, being very logical and practical in a beautiful way, we need that, is represented by the mind. I always said that it felt like my Divine Masculine because I had been going through a spiritual awakening for, years, decades. And my Divine Masculine had been doing the same before we met. But when we met, or re-met, I should say, because we've known each other since we were children. But when we were activated to this ascension journey 5 years ago, he expanded my mind, or helped me to expand my mind. This journey expanded my mind in unbelievable ways. But I had always been very connected to my heart. And I began to see, oh my gosh, that's the masculine and the feminine energy, where I was helping him to open up his heart in the feelings kind of way, and understand his heart, and he was helping me understand my mind. I had a lot of anxiety many years ago. I had the monkey chatter, I had the monkey mind. It took a lot for me. I remember one time I was staying over at his house, and I was up all night because my mind just kept going. But over this journey, that really shifted. I think within the first year of our connection, that really began to heal, that really began to shift. He really helped me overcome a lot of fears. He helped me open up and kind of become alive again, especially since I had been so sick and so fearful because I had been so sick. He really helped me open up so many aspects of myself, but it was all within the mind space. Where I feel, and I can't speak for him, but I feel like I was doing the same for him, but in a different way within the heart space. And that's where the mind and the heart come online. The feminine aspect and the masculine aspect come into balance within the self. So where they were holding themselves back in hesitation, the universe, because their soul was longing for this and pushing them forward, the universe was like, okay, shift or be shifted. Either surrender and allow this and embrace this change, embrace this transformation, that your soul is trying to guide you to higher frequency, to higher embodiment, to higher consciousness, or you'll be shifted. And when you're shifted by the universe, it comes in as tower moments, right? It comes in as upheavals and unpleasantness and discomfort. But if you allow yourself to surrender, you're having faith, you're having trust in the universe. That's what surrender is. It's that place between trust and faith, between acceptance and faith. It's that balance where you are saying, okay, universe, I will take the divinely guided action. I will trust my intuition, but I know that you have a hand in this. I know that you're guiding this. That's where life becomes really peaceful, when you're in that place of presence, when you're in that place of trust, when you're in that place of faith, when you're not trying to force or control anything, or when you're not trying to hold yourself back from where you're being brought to. So I feel like they've been really going through this, and I'm just seeing almost like my eyesight just became really clear. Like there's a fog that's lifting from their head, from their mind. They're seeing things in new perspectives. They're understanding themselves in new connected ways. There's a huge awakening that's happening right now as well. I'm also getting third eye chakra energy, so I feel like their gifts are coming online as well. Divine masculines might experience their gifts in a little bit of different way than the divine feminine, but they're gifts nonetheless. And learning how to trust those gifts versus seeing it through the egoic lens. What true gifts are versus what ego gifts are. They're beginning to understand that as well. All right, divine feminine. What's going on for the divine feminine? The path of least resistance. Choose ease and grace. It's funny that we're just talking about that for the divine feminine as well, because I feel like that's where you are. I feel like you've chosen that path of least resistance, and that's why things are moving more fluidly for you. And if you are still experiencing some tough cycles, if you are still experiencing some disconnect, some disease, if you're still experiencing like resistance, know that you're shifting out of it. Allow yourself to shift out of it, because I feel like for the most part, for the people that I'm channeling, the collective that I'm channeling, I feel like you're in this place. You see the difference? This darkness, this heaviness versus this abundance, this light. That's what I feel like you're really moved out of that old energy and into the new energy. We've talked a lot about how the feminine is in a new frequency, in a higher frequency. She's not in that dense, heavy vibrational energy anymore. She's really shifted because her consciousness has shifted. She's shifted within. This is the shift. She's moved out of one phase and one cycle of her journey of herself and into this new frequency. That's what this feels like. So if you are, and it's bringing in more ease, it's bringing in more grace, it's bringing in more, I'm also hearing more surrender. You're just in this place of faith. And I talked about this in the last Sacred Union Energy Update where there's no lack. This is your inner union. You're not experiencing that lack anymore. So if you are still kind of in this in-between, know that you're shifting. But for most of you, I feel like you're here. Just keep trusting in this. Just keep believing in this. Just keep following this energy, this abundant energy, this peaceful energy, this joyful energy. Just keep anchoring into the presence of your inner union. I want to get one more for the Divine Feminine because I feel like there's something else here. Tell me more for the Divine Feminine. What else for the Divine Feminine? What else do you want us to know for the Divine Feminine? I love this. Remember your identity. You can do it. Divine Feminine, you're in a place. This feels like you've taken down the mask, where you're in this place where you are in your authenticity. Allow yourself to anchor into this. Allow yourself to trust in this. Allow yourself to keep following through with this. You're remembering and anchoring into that oneness with all of the cosmos. You're feeling extraordinarily connected. You're remembering who you are. And that comes from the healing work that you've done, where you're saying, I'm not going to abandon myself anymore. I'm not going to betray myself anymore. I'm not going to neglect myself anymore. I'm not going to sacrifice myself anymore. I know who I am at the core. And no matter what anybody says or what anybody thinks, you're trusting in what your soul, what your intuition is telling you. Again, you're not feeling lack within yourself because you are connected, because you are knowing yourself. And that took a journey for you to get to know yourself and to love yourself so deeply. This isn't just the loving yourself of, let me take a bath, let me treat myself to dinner, let me, buy myself some new clothes. Those are acts of self-care. Those are acts of love. And they're fun, right? But loving yourself is deep-seated connection to yourself. Knowing yourself in your own intimacy, knowing yourself in your own vulnerability, knowing yourself in your own self-expression. Knowing yourself is connecting deeply to yourself. And I feel like that's where you've been, where you are, you're truly anchoring that in. And as you know yourself, you feel connected to everything around you. Because you're not letting the outside world influence you anymore. You're not looking from the outside in, you're looking from within, from the heart space, through the lens of love, through the lens of the heart. That is the core of who you are. There's this energy coming through. If you're struggling right now as a Divine Feminine, I have a couple of Divine Feminine readings here on the channel for support. Feel free to go through the channelings for that. Allow yourself to have faith in yourself. Allow yourself to look at how far you've come along this journey so far and trust the path that you're on. Allow yourself to trust the path that you're walking. What do we need to know for the union energies? Between the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine, what do we need to know for the union energies? Wow. Increase your frequency, higher conscious awareness. I feel like you are both. I'm hearing, I'll meet you where you are. And I feel like that's coming from the Divine Masculine. I feel like the Divine Feminine is holding that higher frequency because you have both been doing this on this ascension journey. You're increasing your frequency, you're shifting your vibration, you're shifting your consciousness into a higher level. What have we been talking about? Higher conscious awareness. I feel like the Divine Masculine is saying, I'll meet you where you are. I had an experience today where I was driving to an appointment, and I was driving on all these back roads. So when that happens, I tend to, like, it's like meditation for me. It's like a really peaceful, I love driving. So it's like a really peaceful energy. And when that happens, I sometimes have conversations with my counterpart. And I was saying to him in my mind, actually out loud, I want it to be you. I want it to be you, I said to him. I said, I want it to be you, and I want it to be me, and I want it to be us. I just want it to be better than what it was. Because, again, it wasn't healthy. We had been together for almost 5 years, but we were going through this ascension journey, and this ascension journey was so incredibly difficult because there was so much healing that was coming up. There were so many patterns and projections and pain and trauma that was being healed. And as much as we tried to do it together, as much as I wanted us to do it together, it was like it was getting lost in translation. There was so much miscommunication because there was so much pain and projection and trauma that was coming up to the surface, and we just couldn't, because we were each other's mirrors, it was almost like a ping pong match. And sometimes when we were having conversations, it was like we couldn't hear each other because the mirror was so strong, and it was like I could see the ping pong ball going back and forth and back and forth, the reflection back and forth and back and forth, and we couldn't get out of it. And that's why sometimes the separation that we're experiencing, even though I'm not feeling any lack there, this physical separation feels like it was necessary for both of us to heal, to remember that at the core we are love and how much we love each other. And I said to him out loud, in my mind and out loud, I was alone in the car. Let me just make that clear. We wasn't there. But I was speaking to him, and I said, I want it to be you. I wish it was you. I want it to be you. But I want it to be better. I want us to have grown in love. I want us to have grown to be able to heal conflict, to repair conflict anytime there's conflict, to be able to communicate, to be able to express ourselves and our love and not hold back from that. I said, I want it to be you. I've always wanted it to be you. And I also said, but if it's not, if you can't do this, if you don't want to do this with me, then I love you anyways and always. I love you anyways and always. Even if it's not you, even if you don't want to or can't do this, I love you anyways and always. That is the unconditional love I've been feeling for the past for years now, but really anchored in with the separation, understanding that wherever it is that he goes on his journey, wherever it is that I go on mine, the love that I have for him, the absolute love that I have for him, just can't be fully expressed. But I do feel like the divine masculine is saying, and I'm not speaking of my divine masculine here, I'm saying about the collective masculine is saying, I will meet you there. I will meet you there. They are working on their own ascension. They are working on their own consciousness shift. They're working on increasing their own frequency, just as you have divine feminine. And the divine feminine leads in the energy. The divine masculine leads the way in a very physical, grounded place. Divine feminine's like, I have this idea, I have this intuition, let's do this. And the divine masculine is the one that makes it happen. They're the doing. Divine feminine is that flow of energy. So in that balance, the divine feminine leads the way energetically. She's gone through her own ascension, and you both have gone through your own ascension together. I just remember when I was going through the first half of my journey, I want to say 2017 to maybe 2017 to 2019, when we were launching this ascension journey, I was going through a lot of inner changes. And my masculine was holding that physical space for me. At the same time, he was going through a lot of very physical changes, and I was holding space for him for that. Now the roles are a little bit reversed. The feminine is going through a lot of physical changes in her life, because of her increased frequency, shifting into higher states of life, of her experiences. The masculine is doing the deep dives. The masculines are doing the inner energy work. You approach it, you're two parts to the same whole. You're two sides of one coin. So you approach the journey from different angles and different ways, both holding space for each other in different ways and at different times. So the divine feminine has been through this journey where she has raised her frequency. Now she's holding space for the masculine to do the same. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. Many years ago, when I first started my channel, I channeled a phrase, I'll meet you on the bridge of the heart. Because what we had channeled was the feminine she really exists, I guess you could say, in the higher three chakras. The feminine energy is indicative of the higher three chakras, where the masculine is indicative of the lower three chakras, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus. Feminine is the throat, the brow, and the crown. And then you have the feminine brings that energy down. She connects to that higher energy and she brings it down. The masculine grounds that energy and brings it up. You meet on the bridge of the heart in that fourth chakra where that love just expands. And I have a lot of channelings here on the Ascension Sacred Channelings playlist if you want to learn more about that. But you meet on the bridge of the heart. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you on the bridge because we are the bridge. We are the bridge. Okay. Whew. This is intense. I also want to show you this as well. We have the card Fast Track to Ascension. That is what you are. That is what you're doing. That's why you incarnated here in two physical bodies as one energy, as one soul. Because you're fast tracking not only your own individual ascension, evolution, and expansion of your soul, but you're helping the global collective, the planet itself, to fast track its ascension. Sacred partners play a pivotal role at this present point in space and time for the evolution of the planet as a whole. And your ascension has a ripple effect on the whole collective. You're healing. As you're healing together, you heal with one another. If you're in separation or not, you heal with one another through the energy exchange. The triggers are just opportunities to show you where the healing is needed, to show you where more love is needed. And as you heal and come together, energetically and physically, you're helping to heal and fast track the ascension of the planet as a whole. There's an individual mission, there's a collective mission, there's a global mission. Okay. This is intense. Let's get these cards. Yeah. We're going to do this. And we're going to do this. Okay, I guess we're doing it this way. Masculine, feminine, yep. That's the way they want it. Okay, let's see what's going on with regards to the connection. What's going on for the Divine Masculine with regards to the connection? I'm going to do a couple of different spreads, I think, next week. I want to do some headspace, heart space, action space for both counterparts next week. And I think I also want to do more of a 3D stuff, like what's going on in their physical world, what's changing in their physical world, what's changing in your physical world. So I want to do things a little bit different next week as we go into some Sacred Union energy updates. Maybe even some past, present, and future kind of energy, just kind of a look back, or more of a reflective energy, more of an overall energy. So we might do things a little bit different, so make sure that you guys are staying tuned. Okay, masculine energy. What's going on with the connection? What's going on with the connection for the masculine? They're feeling a lot. They're feeling a lot. And what I'm getting from this Three of Swords is they're healing a lot. Yeah, this is their awakening. I feel like there is something that is triggering them. There was an outside trigger is what I'm feeling. I feel like there was an outside trigger. This could be something. This could be someone. This could be something that was said. It feels like something in their life triggered them. What I'm getting is that it showed them something about this connection that they hadn't seen before. And it's almost like in a very loving way. It's like they're shifting their perception, and we've been getting this. They're shifting their perception around this connection, especially where they were guarded. They're really seeing things, this connection, in a new light. But I feel like it's triggering with the Three of Cups. I feel like this Three of Swords is like how they treated you. I feel like they're heartbroken for how they treated you, for how they treated this connection. Knowing that you were heartbroken, Divine Feminines. There's, oh gosh, there's a, remember when I said that there's this sense of crying? There's this sense of like emotional overflow. It's not just because of how much they love you, but they're realizing how much they hurt you. And I feel like this sense of loss, like they feel like they lost you. And I feel like this is triggering their awakening. This is triggering their ascension. This is triggering, I want to be better. I want to do better. I don't want to be that person that I was in the past. I feel like you're essential to this. They could be realizing how they've hurt other people in the past. I'm also hearing how they were hurt by other people in the past, so how they allowed themselves to be hurt by other people in the past. Perhaps by that old energy that they were in, where they weren't standing up for themselves, where they were letting people walk all over them, where they were accepting other people's judgments or criticisms, where they weren't living in their integrity. There's a number of different variations here, a number of different energies and messages, so take what resonates for you as it applies to your situation. There's a lot that's coming up to the surface, but it feels like they're, I don't feel like they're going to be wallowing. This doesn't feel like wallowing, but I feel like they're integrating this, they're processing these emotions. They're thinking about this heartbreak, and that's what is spurring them on, spurring them forward. This Judgment card, it's being called, I just love how it's the angel here. This Judgment card is like, you see in her hand, it's almost like, I don't know what that is. I'm seeing like a phoenix there. I'm going to get as close as possible. I'm seeing like a phoenix energy here. And it's this energetic rebirth. It's like the divine is guiding them to this rebirth, to this awakening, to this understanding that, yes, maybe who they were was what they needed for that stage of their life. But it's not all they are. And it's not who they're meant to be. They're going through an evolution. And there's a very nurturing, loving, compassionate energy coming through here. They are being really supported and guided by the universe. I'm just seeing angels wrapping them, embracing them. There's a beautiful, loving energy that's coming through here. Because they're going through this awakening, this shift in perspective. This second chance at life is what it almost feels like, this second chance at life. And that's spurring them on to want a second chance for this connection. Because they can see now what the connection was in the past. How it caused heartbreak. How it caused pain. How they had been heartbroken in pain. And maybe were acting out of that heartbreak and pain when it comes to their connection with you. But something was said or seen, or they experienced something with someone that triggered this awareness. It could be that there was an ex that they were, or a parent figure, or family member, or somebody, a friend maybe, who, I don't know, it could be 1,000 different scenarios. Maybe they were acting in the way that they had acted. And they're now seeing themselves from a different perspective, from an outside perspective of, you shouldn't treat somebody like that. A thousand different scenarios. They're not bringing me any other examples, because it could just be anything. But there was something that triggered this within them. The blindfold came off. They see themselves very, very clearly right now, and it's causing a little bit of heartbreak and pain. There's some guilt, there's some shame, there's some regret. But with this judgment card, I do feel like, and there's some judgment. They're judging themselves. And I feel like they might think that you're judging them, or they might be afraid of your judging them. But I feel like underneath it all, they do feel that sense of forgiveness from you. They just have to find that within themselves now. I do feel like they understand how loving and forgiving you are, but they're having a little bit of a trouble time right now forgiving themselves. They have to access that forgiveness within themselves and with God. When I say with God, I mean, that God's source energy, the universe. They need to connect to God within themselves. They need to connect to themselves. Find that forgiveness within themselves. That's what I mean. So there's some tough energies that they're moving through right now, and I feel like the full moon might have really brought this up for them. But let me see if I can get a little bit more on this. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm going to take these two, and then I just dropped everything else. Yeah, the cards that fell on the floor was the Lovers, the Star, and the Queen of Swords. So I do feel like they'll move through this in loving energy, and I do feel like you might not be centrally focused in their physical world, but I do feel like you're centrally focused in their mind. Like, they have you on their hearts. They have you in their minds. You are present with them right now. And I feel like the Star energy is they want to pour out the past. They want to pour out anything that just was not love. And they want to have the hope for starting over. They want to communicate with you. And I feel like they're seeing you in your strength. They're seeing you in your expressive energy. They're seeing you in your empowerment. And it's like that's what they want to come towards. But with the Two of Swords and the Ten of Swords here, I feel like they're moving through and ending that past cycle. And again, with the Two of Swords here, that blindfold's come off with the full moon, it really feels like. And they're making that conscious decision of, I don't want to be in this energy anymore. I want to end that cycle of the past. I want to end that pain. Or maybe I felt betrayed, or maybe I felt abandoned, or maybe I abandoned myself, or I abandoned my partner. It could be all at once, because there's so much wrapped up in this. There's so much that's been experienced here. They want to end that pain of the past, and I do feel like they're going to be doing this. This Star energy has a very healing energy about it. Again, releasing any of that, the pain of the past, especially if this is the Two of Cups. This is the ending of an old cycle of your connection. Remember when I was explaining as an anecdote how my connection had a lot of toxic energy, and it wasn't because he's toxic, it's not because I'm toxic, it was the toxic energy coming up between us that was making our relationship kind of toxic and unhealthy. That's what this is. It's like ending that so you can fill up on more love, true love, unconditional love, healthy love, conscious love, ending those cycles. Yeah, Three of Wands, wanting to move forward. Heavy energy for the Divine Masculines right now, but it doesn't feel heavy as in Dark Night of the Soul. It just feels like moving through a lot of emotions, feeling a lot. Okay, and it feels like they're embracing this. Maybe not embracing it, that's not the right word. The Spirit's like, hold on. But allowing it. They're surrendering to it because that's the way through. That is the way through. All right. And I do feel like they're going to break through it as well. I feel like they are breaking through it with that Tower as well. The Tower comes in to shake things up, but there's always a breakthrough. After the dawn, after the darkness comes the dawn. Always, always, always. There is always light after night. So I feel like that's what's happening here. Divine Feminines, what's going on with you in the connection? Divine Feminines, what's going on with you in the connection? Oh, this is all upside down. Ten of Wands. There's, oh, okay, so cats might be, oh, that reminds me. No wonder. Okay, so cats might be a symbol for somebody. Wow, okay, so I had a dream last night about, remember in my last recording, I talked a lot about so many synchronicities. Music has been coming through really strongly. You might be speaking with your counterpart telepathically through music. You might be experiencing a lot of like spirit animals and things like that, because I heard like the cows, and the cows were bringing forth a message, which, by the way, I was not crazy. There were really cows out in the pasture, and I could hear them even though I'm not near the pasture. So that was interesting. But last night I had a dream. It was really interesting. It was, there were 3 white wolves in my neighborhood. There was a male, a female, and a cub, and they were white. And I felt a little bit, I was called to follow them. They were guiding me somewhere. And I felt a little bit nervous and hesitant because they were wolves. Like, I didn't know. They weren't dogs, like dogs would be like, hey, Fluffy, let me pet you. But they were wolves. So there was that part of myself, that instinctual part of myself that was like, wait, these are wild animals. But I also wanted to really trust that, and I allowed myself to be guided. When I woke up, I did a quick Google search, and I realized not only it wasn't necessarily about what the wolf represents, although the white wolf apparently is representative of a very spiritual kind of energy, but it represents the partnership. Especially, it was personal for me because my counterpart has a child that I have helped to raise and I love more than anything. And so for me, it represented that family union. And many, many weeks ago, we had channeled a reading about the lone wolf and how you're the lone wolf no more. And I'll try to put a link in the description box if I can remember where it is, that video. But we had talked about how the Divine Masculine, especially, maybe even the Divine Feminine, you experienced this as well, felt like they were kind of like a lone wolf. But wolves are pack animals. Wolves are meant to be supported. And even though you can do it all on your own, you can survive on your own, you can support yourself on your own, you are meant to be part of soul family. You're meant to be part of soul tribe. We're meant to be in connection with one another. So it was a beautiful representation for me. There's a lot more for me that I won't get into because it's sacred, but it was a beautiful representation to me of the coming from the lone wolf to representing that family unit, to representing that connected unit. And so for me, it was almost like I was a little bit hesitant because I'm not used to that. And I haven't been used to that. And especially when I'm looking at it from this bigger picture of this journey, it's like, well, can we have that again? Because we almost had that, but can we have that again? Can it be trusted? And the answer overwhelmingly is yes. So it was very, very interesting, but it was interesting more because going from that lone wolf energy to that family kind of energy, that pack kind of energy, it was, pay attention to your dreams right now. Right now especially, there's a lot of energy moving in dreams. There's a lot of healing that's happening in dreams, and there's a lot of symbolism in dreams. And you don't necessarily have to look up in the dream dictionary, like, what does this mean? You can if it's helpful for you, but it's more of the feeling. What do you feel intuitively when you wake up? What is the story behind it? What is the energy behind it? Trusting the energy behind it. And for me, my counterpart has been in some way in my dreams, maybe not visually there, but I could always feel his energy on the periphery of my dreams. He's been in my dreams for weeks now. It's very interesting what's happening energetically right now. So Divine Feminine, what's going on for you right now when it comes to this connection? Oh, that's exactly what it is. So interesting. So this Nine of Wands energy is, you're a little bit hesitant because of the past. Look at how many wands you have there. Look at how many battles you've faced. So you're a little bit hesitant. You're like, please God, no more. What comes from the Nine of Wands is the Ten of Wands, where you are putting down that burden. You are stepping into a place of faith. The Nine of Wands is kind of like the wounded warrior energy, feeling a little bit defeated, but you're not giving up. You're not giving up. That's what this feels like. It's like, even though I know we've battled so much and we've come so far, we haven't come this far just to get this far. We haven't come this far just to get this far. Divine Feminine, when it comes to this connection, what's going on? Oh my gosh. Let's get a good shuffle in. Divine Feminine, when it comes to this connection. The Wheel. You're surrendering to the universe. I want to say to fate, but it's not quite fate. You're just allowing yourself to surrender. You're allowing yourself to surrender in that place of acceptance. And there's the Ten of Wands. I love it. You're allowing yourself to be in that place, like I talk about and I channel, of acceptance and faith, where you are accepting the current reality, you're accepting the present reality, but you're also manifesting. You're also in that place of faith. You're also in that place of surrender. You're in that place of, how to describe her? You're in this place of, you're trusting in yourself. You might be seeing whatever's happening in the 3D. You might be seeing what's happening physically, and you're like, okay, I know that this isn't all there is. That's the gift of the feminine. She knows that's not all there is. And she knows that even though it might look this way now, it's not going to look this way forever. So that's a wounded warrior energy. It's like, I've battled so far, I've come so far, but I know that there's still more, and I'm going to put down those burdens. I'm going to end that cycle. Both of you having tens here, three tens I'm getting called to. Both of you ending that cycle of carrying the burdens within yourself, carrying the heaviness. You're moving into a new phase. You're moving into a new energy. And you're in this, when it comes to this connection, Divine Feminines, you are trusting that the universe is guiding this. It's not fate as in, like, you don't have a hand in it. It's not fate as in you're not a co-creator. You are a co-creator. But you're also not in that place of, well, I'm co-creating, so I need to force it. I need to control it. I need to do this. I need to do that. No, you're in the energy of letting it be. You're trusting. You're following your path, focused on your path, but you also have that sense of faith and knowing that it's all going to converge. Some way, somehow, it's all going to converge. I was talking to a friend earlier, and I said, you know what? I have no doubt that my counterpart and I are going to communicate again. No doubt whatsoever that we're going to communicate again. But what that means for us, whether that's a conclusion or whether that is a new beginning, I don't know, because that's not entirely up to me. Like, there's two people in a relationship. There's two people in connection. So I don't know, but either way, there's a sense of peace. Either way, there's this forward motion. There's this forward movement that's happening. Either way, I know it's being guided by God. That's what this energy is. It's like you're feeling a little bit defeated because of everything in the past, but you're also in this place of faith, and it's like, Jesus, take the wheel, that kind of energy. I don't want to control this anymore. I just want to be in the energy of focus on my path and knowing that things are happening, knowing that it's unfolding, knowing that everything's somehow moving forward. And I might not be able to see the whole picture, but that's where I'm surrendering. That's where I'm putting down the burden of trying to control this or trying to force this, just because I've had this understanding of this journey. Yes, Divine Feminine is saying, but that doesn't mean like I need to control it. So she's putting down those burdens. Let's get a little bit more. Where's the Divine Feminine? Yeah, exactly. The Empress. She is standing in her power, knowing that the Divine Masculine is getting ready to stand in his, knowing that her Divine Masculine is coming. This is also indicative of union, where she is in balance with her Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine energy within, which is getting the wheel turning for that outer union as well. And she might not be able to see the whole picture of what that looks like or how that's going to turn out or who or what or where or when or why or how. But that's this energy of trust that's coming through here. Amazing. Okay. This is the longest reading, my God. But there's so much that's happening here. I want to get, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to end with these cards. No messages between you guys today. This is too long already, but I do want to end with these cards. What do you want to say to each other? What do you want to say to each other with these cards? Masculine, what do you want the feminine to know? Masculine, what do you want the feminine to know? Oh my gosh. Remember I did a channeling, you're not going to see this coming. I'll put that link in the description box below. That's what this feels like. The mask is coming down for the masculine. Just like we had channeled in the beginning, the mask is coming down. They're learning to love themselves. They're embracing themselves in their full authenticity, in their integrity, in the fullness and the wholeness of themselves. Really seeing the soul of themselves. And because of that, I feel like it's a mystery to you, Divine Feminine. I feel like you're going to be a little bit surprised by who they are, who they've become. Allow for their transformation just as you've transformed. Bottom of the deck, lots of passion. I also love that we have maturity here as well. Divine Feminine, how are you feeling, or what do you want to say to the Divine Masculine? Daydreams, you are thinking about this. You are manifesting this. You are, and you're both manifesting each other is what I'm getting as well. But I feel like Divine Feminines, you're kind of like, I can't see how this is going to happen. I have no idea. All I have are my daydreams because I can't really see or fathom how this is going to come in. We had channeled that it's going to take a miracle. Some of you think it's going to take a miracle, but miracles happen in every moment. Divine Feminines, you are breaking free from any of that control, any of that codependency, and from that freedom, that's where you have true love. Beautiful, and that's where you have commitment. Commitment is not codependency. Love is not codependency. It is a freedom. And I feel like you really understand that. And I feel like you've broken free from that within yourself, from this journey, from this connection. And you're really understanding. You're trusting in your heart now. You're trusting in the true love of this connection without the attachment, without the need, without the control, without the dependency or the codependency that you had. I'm just seeing this chain being snapped apart. And it's like what I'm seeing as that chain is broken. What I'm seeing is you're holding hands now. You come together holding hands. You don't need the chain to bind you. You're already connected to each other. But you heal the codependency. Love is holding hands. It's not being attached in this way, in this unhealthy way. And I feel like that is what's happening. I feel like that's what you're saying to the Divine Masculine. You're saying, we don't need this energy, this toxic energy. We have each other. Let's just hold each other's hands. Let's just be in the energy of love. That's what Divine Feminine has always wanted, and I feel like that's what's happening here. Wow, beautiful energies here. On the bottom of the deck, we have that commitment card. That is what true love is. It is valuing each other, committing to each other, honoring each other in a very liberated way. Beautiful. Whew. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for me. I am sending you all so much love and so much light, and we'll be back next week with more Sacred Union energy updates. Leave me a comment, hit that thumbs up button, let me know how you guys are resonating with this. Send you much love and much light. Bye.